It all started with a single post. A quiet evening, a song playing softly in the background, and a caption that no one expected. Demet Özdemir, one of Turkey's most beloved stars, shared a short video on her Instagram. Just a few seconds long, no words, no filters, just emotion. The clip showed her standing on a balcony overlooking the Bosphorus, eyes glistening in the golden light of sunset. The caption read only 3 words, "Some stories remain." Within minutes, the internet exploded. Fans flooded her comments. "Is this about Can? It feels like a goodbye. Demet, what are you trying to tell us?" It didn't take long before her post went viral, crossing borders, picked up by international fan pages and entertainment outlets. Hashtags like #Demet Özdemir, #Yaman, and #Some Stories Remain trended in multiple countries. At first, it seemed like just another cryptic post, until a well-known Italian magazine decided to publish an article the next morning that would change everything. The headline read, "The Hidden Meaning Behind Demet Özdemir's Tribute, What She Still Feels for Yaman." The piece claimed that Demet's video wasn't random at all. According to unnamed sources close to both stars, it was a personal message, a silent tribute to a relationship that the world had never fully understood. She didn't write his name, the article said, but she didn't need to. The emotion in her eyes said everything. The report detailed how Demet and Can hadn't spoken publicly in years, but their connection remained one of the most discussed topics in Turkish entertainment. It reminded readers of their early days together, the intense chemistry, the emotional interviews, and the way Can once said, "When two souls meet, you don't forget, even if the world does." That quote resurfaced immediately after Demet's post. Fans began to connect the dots, sharing old photos, old interviews, and clips where their eyes met in ways words could never describe. Within 24 hours, Demet's video reached over 12 million views. Celebrities, journalists, and even former co-stars began commenting. Some praised her for her honesty, others accused her of reopening old wounds. But the most shocking reaction came from Italy, from a source no one expected. An Italian journalist claimed that Yaman himself had seen the post during a shoot and reacted in silence, walking off set for a few minutes. He looked at the phone, then just walked away, the insider said. No one dared to ask why. That was all it took. The internet had its theory. Demet's tribute wasn't nostalgia, it was a message. A message for him. By the next morning, the story had taken a life of its own. Every entertainment outlet from Istanbul to Rome had a headline about Demet Özdemir's tribute. But the focus quickly shifted, from her post, to him. What did Yaman think? Why hadn't he said anything? And most importantly, was this tribute really about him? At first, Can ignored the noise. He continued filming in Naples, surrounded by production crews and cameras, his schedule tightly packed. But those on set noticed something unusual. He seemed quieter than usual, distracted, and more introspective. Between takes, he scrolled through his phone, not smiling, not reacting, just staring. An Italian journalist later revealed that someone from the production team had overheard him whisper, "She always knew how to say everything, without saying a word." The quote went viral in minutes. News anchors replayed it on loop, calling it the closest thing to an answer yet. Meanwhile, the Turkish media spun a different narrative. A major outlet published an article titled, "Can Yaman in Shock After Demet's Tribute, The Past Comes Back to Haunt Him." They claimed that Can had privately told friends he wasn't expecting the post, that it caught him completely off guard. Another journalist added fuel to the fire, suggesting that Demet's tribute wasn't just about nostalgia, but about something he said long ago. In one old interview, when asked if he regretted losing touch with Demet, Can had replied, "Regret is a heavy word. Some connections aren't meant to end, they just go quiet for a while." Now, everyone believed her tribute was a response to that. A delayed reply. A message across years of distance. Fans were divided. Some saw it as romantic, proof that what they once shared had never truly ended. Others called it manipulation, a strategic move to reignite media attention right as both were entering new phases of their careers. The debate grew so intense that even international magazines joined in. A Spanish outlet titled its piece, "Love or Strategy?" The viral tribute that reopened Turkey's most famous love story. But through all of it, Demet remained silent. No follow-up posts, no interviews, no clarifications. She simply disappeared from the public eye for a few days, as if to let the world talk, while she stayed above it all. Then came another twist. A paparazzi photo surfaced showing Yaman leaving his hotel late at night, wearing the same bracelet he'd been seen with years ago during the filming of his series with Demet. Fans noticed instantly. "He still wears it," someone tweeted. After all this time, that's not coincidence. The photo went viral, adding even more fire to the story. The tribute had become a chain reaction, a spark that reignited memories, emotions, and maybe, something more. And yet, both of them refused to give the world the satisfaction of clarity. The silence between them spoke louder than 1,000 statements. And everyone could feel that something bigger, something hidden, was about to surface. 3 days after Demet's tribute went viral, the world woke up to the headline that no one saw coming. Italy's biggest celebrity magazine released its cover story, bold letters across the front page, Yaman's secret letter, the truth behind Demet's tribute. The article promised to reveal exclusive details from a source close to the actor, and within hours, it broke the internet. According to the piece, the magazine had obtained private correspondence, not messages, not screenshots, but a handwritten note allegedly from Ken himself, written years ago, during the filming of his most famous series with Demet. The note was never meant to be public. It was short, emotional, and full of the kind of vulnerability no one expected from him. The article quoted just a few lines. "You said some stories don't last forever, but ours doesn't know how to end. Maybe we'll forget each other's words, but not the silence between them." The moment those words hit the web, the world went crazy. It was poetic, heartbreaking, and too intimate to ignore. Could it be real? Was it truly written by Can, or was it just another tabloid invention? Fans debated relentlessly. Some defended him, saying the magazine had crossed a line. Others believed every word, convinced that this was the emotional truth both had been hiding for years. The article went even further, claiming that Demet's tribute was a direct response to that letter, a tribute to something that was never closure, never forgotten. The anonymous insider quoted in the magazine said, "She kept it all this time. That's why her video felt so raw. She wasn't acting. She was remembering." Within hours, Turkish media picked up the story, adding their own spin. Some called it a love confession delayed by fame. Others labeled it a calculated coincidence. Meanwhile, Yaman's management refused to comment, saying only, "We do not confirm or deny the authenticity of the letter." Mr. Yaman has nothing to say regarding personal matters. But silence, once again, spoke louder than denial. Because just hours after the statement, Can posted a photo on his Instagram. No caption. Just a black background and a single emoji, candle the candle emoji. A symbol of remembrance, of something still burning quietly. Fans instantly flooded the comments. This is his answer. He's confirming everything. That candle is for her. Even Demet's followers noticed her subtle reaction. She didn't post anything new, but she liked a fan comment under her tribute video that read, "Some flames never go out." And that was enough to reignite the fire. The magazine reveal had started a global storm. What began as a simple tribute had become a web of emotion, mystery, and memories too heavy to fade. And for the first time in years, it felt like the story of Can and Demet wasn't over, it was simply starting again, under new light. The world was still buzzing about the letter. Talk shows analyzed every word, magazines debated its authenticity, and fans flooded social media with side-by-side comparisons of old interviews, searching for clues in their eyes and tone. It had become more than gossip, it was an emotional puzzle the entire world wanted to solve. But amid the chaos, Yaman disappeared. No public appearances. No statements. No posts. For the first time in months, he went completely silent. Sources in Italy claimed he had taken a break from filming and traveled alone to Istanbul, quietly, without media attention. No one knew why, until a blurry photo surfaced online, Can walking along the Bosphorus at sunset, wearing the same dark coat from the early days of his career. The caption of the viral tweet that shared the photo read, "He went back to where it all began." The image broke hearts around the world. It wasn't about fame anymore, it was about something much deeper. Something unresolved. Meanwhile, in Istanbul, Demet Özdemir was attending a private charity event when a journalist dared to ask, "Demet, have you read the magazine article about Can's letter?" For a moment, she didn't respond. Then she smiled faintly and said, "I don't need to read something I already know." The crowd froze. Was she confirming the letter was real? Or was she simply saying that the truth was already hers, not the world's to dissect? That night, social media exploded again. One comment summed up what millions were thinking: they don't deny. They don't explain. They just feel. Days later, something extraordinary happened. Can finally returned to Instagram. He posted a single black and white photo, his hand resting on a piano, the same one he'd once used during a behind-the-scenes clip with Demet years ago. The caption read, "Some melodies never end. They just change key." In less than an hour, the post surpassed 1 million likes. The symbolism was unmistakable. He wasn't trying to reignite rumors. He was saying goodbye, but beautifully. And then, as if perfectly timed, Demet posted something of her own. A short video, shot in soft golden light, showing her walking away from the sea. Her voice, calm and sincere, narrated just one line, "Every story has a song, and ours will always play somewhere." The music faded, the clip ended, and for the first time, both seemed at peace. By the end of the week, the same Italian magazine that had caused the storm published one final update. This time, the tone was softer, almost poetic. The headline read, "Not a letter, not a confession, just two people who remember." Inside, the journalist who first broke the story wrote, "Maybe the letter was real, maybe it wasn't. But what's certain is that between Can and Demet, there was always truth, the kind that doesn't fade, even when silence replaces words." The world, for once, stopped speculating. The noise quieted. The storm ended. Months passed. Can went back to work, stronger, calmer, more private than ever. Demet began a new project that took her to Europe, ironically, to the same country where it had all resurfaced, Italy. Fans joked that destiny loved symmetry. They never appeared together again, but their names were never mentioned apart. Whenever one of them smiled in an interview, the other would trend online. Whenever one shared a new post, the world looked for meaning in it. Because some stories aren't meant to be forgotten. They're meant to live in fragments, in words, in songs, in silence. And perhaps that's what made their story immortal. It wasn't about drama or denial, not even about rekindled love. It was about two people who once shared something so genuine, it refused to die in the noise of fame. Years later, when a Turkish documentary about the golden era of television aired, a clip of Can and Demet's old series appeared on screen. The audience applauded. Not because of nostalgia, but because they still felt it, that rare, unspoken connection between two people who never needed to explain themselves. The narrator ended the documentary with words that perfectly captured their story: "Sometimes, love doesn't ask to be understood. It just asks to be remembered." And that's how the world remembered Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir, not through gossip, not through rumors, but through the quiet, timeless echo of what once was. Because when something is real, you don't need proof. You just know.